Hi, my name is John Heater, and I am here to talk about some of the experiences that I've had with Bigfoot. I usually don't talk about them because, you tell people that you've seen Bigfoot and they kind of look at you like you're a little crazy. But I have seen Bigfoot. There have been 4 times that I've seen him, and each time he's asked me to prom, which is, I'm not sure why, but yeah, I just thought I'd share those experiences with you today. So the first time I ever saw Bigfoot, it was back in '86. I was living alone at the time, and I woke up in the middle of the night because there was this weird thumping sound up against my window. So I got out of bed, I checked the window, and when I looked outside, I saw Bigfoot was standing there throwing cats at my house. And I opened up the window and I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And as soon as I did, he held up a sign that said prom with a question mark. So he was throwing cats at my house to try and get my attention so he could ask me to prom. And I said, "Of course I'm not going to go to prom with you. I don't even know you." And he just walked away. It was a very weird incident, and I thought, I wouldn't see him ever again, but of course I was wrong. Back in '83, I was working at a pizzeria, and I was they call them pizza examiners. I don't know if you know this, but the FDA has very strict regulations on what a pizza is. So whenever a pizzeria makes a pizza, they send it to a pizza checker first, which is what I was. We measure it out with like a tape measure, make sure it's the right size. We, weigh it to make sure it weighs enough. Use a protractor, make sure it's, cut correctly. It's, all that stuff. So I was working at this pizzeria as a pizza checker, and a pizza came across in front of me, and when I looked at the pizza, the word prom in a question mark was written out in pepperoni. And I look to my left, and I see Bigfoot standing there in a full chef's outfit. He had, arranged the pepperoni so that it said prom. Now, this was a pretty big problem. The FDA has very strict regulations against Bigfoot being in restaurant kitchens due to all the diseases that he carries. We ended up having to shut down the pizzeria just because he was there. So that was a very tough promposal from Bigfoot, to go through. Back in, I think it was 1981, I was working at a law firm, and we had just closed this really big case that would help get cigarettes in schools. I was walking to my car right after the case had concluded, and there were a bunch of people gathered around my car. As I got closer, I noticed they weren't gathered around my car, they were gathered around this fire that had been started in front of my car. It appeared as though Bigfoot wrote the word prom with a question mark in gasoline and then lit it on fire right in front of my car. I soon found out, mostly from the smell, that it was not gasoline, but in fact his urine that he had written it in. I don't know if you know this, but Sasquatch urine is one of the most flammable substances in nature. The weirdest thing about that one in particular is Bigfoot himself was nowhere to be found. Every time he's done one of these promposals, he's been there, of course, asking me to prom. But this time, I couldn't find him. I don't know if he got scared off, or maybe he found someone else to go to prom with him, which is what I hoped. But yeah, he was nowhere to be found. That one in particular was probably the most traumatic Bigfoot promposal I've ever received. And the reason why is because I'm really afraid of fire, but at the same time I'm really into urine, especially animal urine. So I was feeling a whole mix of feelings. I didn't know how to feel about that one. The last time that I ever received a promposal from Bigfoot was actually the day that I was born. This was back in '85. My mother was giving birth to me in the hospital. She's in labor, pushing me out, and she turns and sees the door of the delivery room, and Bigfoot is standing there in a tuxedo, holding flowers and a sign that says prom with a question mark. Now, under any other circumstances, my father probably would have told Bigfoot to leave the delivery room as soon as he walked in. Unfortunately, however, my father was a little distracted fighting off wolves that had broken into the hospital. Now, I can't prove anything, but I've always suspected that Bigfoot was the one who let those wolves into the hospital to distract my father so that he could ask me out to prom. The moment I slithered out, I looked Bigfoot right in the face and I said, "Look, this is the 4th time you've asked me to prom. Every time I've said no, that's never going to change. You need to find someone else, and you need to let me get on with my life." And I never saw him again. You know, every day I live in fear because, you know, I don't know if he's ever going to return. I don't know if he's going to light something else on fire. But this is my struggle, and it's something that I have to deal with. So that's my story. Those are all the times that Bigfoot has asked me out to prom. You know, if anyone else has any other experiences, any other times Bigfoot might have asked you out to prom, please let me know in the comments. You know, I want you to know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there who've been promposed to by Bigfoot, and we will get through this together. Thanks.